AI is replacing output, but it can't replace judgment. That line might sound really obvious, but right now it's the difference between being seen as valuable or replaceable. Because here's what's happening: we're flooded with decks, reports, dashboards, most of it generated faster than ever. The speed is here, but clarity, decision making, discernment, that's what's missing. I was listening to Sinead Bove's interview with Jay Ugwell recently, and she said something that genuinely stuck with me. She described AI as a general purpose technology, something like electricity or the internet. And when something of that magnitude arrives, it doesn't just tweak how we work, it shifts what we value. And that's what really landed with me. Because if we value what is changing, then how we show our value also changes. Right now, we're flooded with output, reports, decks, dashboards, so much of it AI assisted, generated, and repackaged. But more output does not equal more value. In fact, the more that gets produced, the harder it becomes to find what's actually useful. Businesses or your clients are no longer impressed by volume. They want clarity, they want direction, and they want confidence that someone has filtered out the noise and left what matters. And that's where judgment comes in. Judgment is now the differentiator, not the amount of output. And I want to pause here because if you're someone monetizing your skills and moving into more of a portfolio career structure, this touches every part of how you operate. You may already be offering coaching, consulting, strategy, all of it grounded in your experience. But you've probably also heard some version of this question: can't AI do that now? And sometimes the answer is yes, it can generate some of it, but it can't replicate your lived experience, your decision making instincts, and your ability to contextualize and prioritize. AI can give you a set of answers, but judgment is knowing which ones to trust and when to override them completely. And this isn't the first time we've seen something like this happen. Back in the 1980s, accounting students were literally tested on arithmetic. One professor asked them to open a phone book and add up all the numbers on the page. That was their exam test. Then in 1985, Excel came along. Arithmetic was instantly automated. The accountants who thrived didn't try to outpace the machine. They shifted to become interpreters of data, storytellers, advisors. They adapted. They made themselves irreplaceable. And the same thing is happening across all of knowledge work right now. The repetitive, obvious parts are being automated. What's left is complex, messy, and deeply human. But there's always a catch. Businesses don't see your judgment or discernment. They see your output. So the real challenge is, how do you help your clients experience your judgment? What does that even look like? This was something I had to really think about in my own business. Clients might see a great workshop or a polished deck, but they don't see the thinking that went into it, the decisions, the filters. So I built a system, one that shows how I think, how I support my clients, and it's now at the heart of how I help women launch successful portfolio careers. I call it my 6P system, and it gives my clients a clear, grounded structure they can follow and trust. The important thing here is this system is not theoretical. It is built from 20 years of my experience across corporate leadership, venture building, human design, and strategic advising. It strips away everything that is unnecessary. It is focused only on what moves the needle. So when I walk a client through this system, they get more than an idea. They get a repeatable, actionable process. But more importantly, it gives them a way to access the same quality of my thinking for themselves. And that's valuable. And if you're watching this and thinking, okay, great, but how do I show my judgment? Here's some ideas of where to start. Firstly, you don't need to build a whole system straight away. Maybe you can start with a post that explains why you made a recent decision. Or you might want to annotate a client deliverable, pointing out what you discarded and why. That shows your thinking. Or maybe you can even create a My Process section on your website to demonstrate how you think before people even work with you. That's how trust forms, not just from what you produce, but how you can transparently show how you arrive at it. And in a world with so much noise, that kind of clarity becomes your edge. And in my opinion, the most important thing you can offer right now is not speed. It is thoughtfulness. And the people who will stand out are not the ones producing the most, but the ones filtering the best. So let people see your judgment. Let them feel how you think. That's what earns trust, and that's what keeps you irreplaceable.